hoopla about Canada going into martial law with the assistance of Chinese troops, apparently. Well, I believe that this is just a psyop. It's a way of overwhelming people, make them feel demoralized, make them feel there's no hope, that sort of thing. And it's a technique that's used by communists when they've got their sights on taking over a country, and they definitely have the intention of taking over Canada, of capturing Canada, and they've got tentacles everywhere. A lot of money's going into this. It's a very sophisticated plan and everything else. But the method they're using is a subversive method, which is very different than if it's an overt, if it's with guns and other whatever, it's toys of mass destruction. This is a subversive method, so it has to be done legally. Like they come in and they infiltrate and they manipulate and they push the boundaries of everything, and they try to undermine your rights until they create a situation where where it's legal to act against the citizens. And when they reach that point, then they can make the police and the military act against the people. But they're not there yet, and there is no provision in Canadian law for martial law. So they can't create a big, emergency and put the troops out against the people. They're not allowed to do that. And as far as the Chinese, there being like anywhere from 100,000 to 1 million Chinese troops on Canadian soil, just waiting to, be deployed against the people. I don't see any evidence of that whatsoever, and I think it's just a ploy. Now, I do believe that the Canadian government trained some Chinese troops several years back, and there's pictures of that, and there's a lot of discussion about that. And Trudeau's responsible, yada yada, but that doesn't equate to, a huge number of Chinese troops on Canadian soil waiting to attack us. I don't think that's the case. And I'm not trying to say there is no problem, just carry on, everything's normal. No, it's not normal. And we are under attack. We are definitely under attack. But that's not the kind of attack we're under. It's a psychological attack, like the very factor of creating fear in people, thinking that this is going to happen. I saw the situation where the police in April refused to do the stay-at-home orders, refused to stop people at the side of the road and demand their ID and give them fines if they weren't going someplace essential, all that. They refused to do that. And then these other, I don't know what you want to call them, but shills, I guess, were putting out messages that, oh no, they're not really going to stand down. They're just saying that so that Ford can get Trudeau to declare a state of national emergency so he can put the troops against you, the military against you. Total bullshit. And that sounds similar to what's going on now. And also that leaked Liberal document, I think, was also a bunch of bullshit. Like they made little errors of doing all those things, but they're not getting away with this. They're not getting away with any of them. All the little plans are falling apart. And our laws are proving to be too strong for them to just trounce right over. They have the charter all wrapped up and ready to go, but people have caught on. In huge volumes of people have caught on that the charter is a communist document. Stay away from it. And it has no power if we don't invoke it. It's just almost like a sleeper, It doesn't affect anything unless you invoke it. And we have an alternative. We have two alternatives. We have common law, because all of our rights are articulated through the common law through court proceedings, and we also have the Canadian Bill of Rights and other legislation such as privacy, right to informed consent. All of that is and even our criminal code incorporates all our rights in it, and our rights to be uh, to be protected from arbitrary treatment from the government. It's right in our criminal code, protection built in for it. So we have a really good system, and it's still intact. And don't believe that we're done. It's a communist country now. This is China, and the Chinese troops are going to be here any minute, you know, to drag us off to a quarantine center if we're unvaxxed. No, that's not happening. What's happening is employers are being manipulated into bringing in vax mandates based on little sweet deals, loans, grants, other incentives to bring this along. But all of that is not going to come out in the wash. Like when it's put through the scrutiny of, unless you use a charter, no problem, because Section 1 lets the government override your rights if they think they have a good enough reason. So whenever this test is put to that process, no, don't think so. You're better off to go either with the Bill of Rights if you can. Any federal employers or employers of any even private private agencies who are regulated by the federal government have protection under the Canadian Bill of Rights. And even if it's another employer, like a private employer uh, or a provincial or municipal government, you can still use case law to protect you from all of this going down. And it's just as strong, if not even maybe stronger, because it's all spelled out and it's protected and firm. But it doesn't work under the charter process. If you invoke the charter, section 24.1, your common law is out the window, and your articulated, your codified rights in the Bill of Rights and other places for. I'm sorry, guys. I had a phone call right in the middle of this. Okay, so my assessment is that although I think we're in deep trouble and it requires our attention and our commitment and even some risk, we need to calm down a little bit about the martial law and the Chinese troops, because if they had that kind of resource or capacity, why would they be diddling around with all of this stuff that they're doing? Why not just say, boom, you're having a vax and that's it? Otherwise, we're going to use force against you. I don't think that that's what they intend to do. And don't forget this is going on worldwide. I don't think they have enough resources to come in and take over every country by that kind of force. And there's resistance. There's resistance from our military. There's resistance from our regional police, not our OPP, unfortunately. But it's not a walk in the park. There's resistance, and some of our bureaucrats are resisting. They're speaking out. There's some really prominent people speaking out. Some prominent doctors speaking out, and lots of people taking a stance, no vax, risking their job. That's the way to fight this war. That's the way to win this war. And I see that we've made inroads. I don't see us going backwards. I think they're not in the position they expected to be in right now. I think they expected to be in the same place they are with Australia, and we're nowhere near that. And it's because our laws are stopping them, and our actions are stopping them. So I'm suggesting that we just carry on and learn your rights, learn how to assert your rights, join with other people, take action, and we'll wither this storm. And finally, I'm sorry that I interrupted
the video, but I had a phone call and I couldn't stop it. So anyway, that's the end of it, and I just wanted to leave you with this last note. Hashtag we got this.